Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Dirty Podcast. I'm your host, John Croft. Today, I just want to do a quick one talking about some more mental health, which is the direction I want to go with this podcast. And today is going to be about motivation. Motivation is something hard for everybody. I feel that a lot of people look into how hard life is and things aren't fair, a lot of obstacles. It's just life. Adulting is not easy. Responsibility is not easy. Um, Being 50 and going through a lot of things, which a lot of people, like I say in other podcasts, that everybody goes through their own struggles in life. Some continue to struggle. Some seek help. Some ask for motivation, or they ask for something from a spouse, from a friend, from family members. And the things I learned, and I'm not an expert, this is just my opinion, maybe it might help somebody out, is trying to find the good in everything. And it sounds real easy to do that, right? Coming out of my mouth. It's not real easy. They always say surround yourself with positive and motivating people. Sometimes you can be in a room in the most positive environment and still have this cloud over your head. I talked about that with Tisha the other day. But sometimes you can walk in a room and you can just feel darkness in there. The question is it you, or is it the room? Is it the people in the room? And one thing that I've learned as of late is sometimes you just have to let some things go. Meaning, stress is just, it mentally drain you, it physically drain you, it can cause issues in all aspects of life. And anything I say is not easy, and not everybody is able to do it. And that was my mindset as well. I walked around with this dark cloud over the past 8 years. There was probably, I wouldn't say the past 8 years, I'd say the past 7 years. And before that, there was times it was there. I had a lot of negativity in my life. I grew up with a lot of negativity in my life. And sometimes you just have to let that negativity baggage go. And no, it's not easy. And it doesn't always go away. The thing is trying to find a place to put it to where you can let positively shine through. It's not that easy. I get it. But also just, you get a moment to yourself, just kind of just do like an inner scope of your mind and of your situation. And sometimes writing things down help people. It doesn't help me because I can't even read my own writing half the time. But look into yourself and just kind of point out some things that are negative. You know what they are. We all know what they are because we're in it every day. The other thing I try to focus on is denial. Denial is like, it's evil because you just feel that nobody gets what you're saying. Nobody understands what you're going through. Nobody's in your shoes. The thing is other people's struggles should show you, when you see them come out of that struggle, they don't completely come out. But pulling the positive out of that, you can learn from those struggles of other people. Now, there's a lot that goes on with that. So I'll give you an example. So Tesh and I was laying in the bed last night. We always play this Diablo Immortal game before we go to bed. Just kind of just tones your mind down, and no, video games in my mind does not alter anything. I guess for some people that have that mind where they just put too much stock into it, gullible minds and things like that. But I got this text from a niece of mine that I don't really talk to that side of the family. And she basically said that, now, granted, I haven't heard from this niece in like years. And how she has my number, I don't know. But she got my number and said that they're doing Thanksgiving, which is coming up, invited me and my mom. Now, hard work that you put in to get yourself in a better state of mind. And it's baby steps. Things like this normally would have took me back to square one, you know? And then Tisha was like, so what are your thoughts on it? None. That's just taking up room on my positivity. That's negative for me. And people might say, well, that's kind of positive. No, not for me. Isn't that's one of my mental crutches, is what I like to call it. It's a crutch that for negativity. Mom and I don't get along. You can't put the two of us in the same room. It's not going to work. She's never going to give me that closure. On Tish and I had talked about that before as well. It was about, getting closure. My closure was a long time ago. I don't need to see her. She's never going to provide that closure to me because she's always going to be in denial that she never did anything wrong, that she did the best that she could, which is horseshit because no, you could have been better. You too self-centered and concerned about money. But I'm not going to get in that rabbit hole. If this was me 7 months ago, I would be dwelling on it and letting it bother me, letting it stress me out, taking up a nice little room in my head of continuously letting me know about my past and all this other kind of crap. But I've learned through a lot of things of other people's struggles, of listening to my wife Tisha, trying to be positive. And it works. I don't know how, but 7 months ago, my job was my nemesis of basically sapping the soul out of me, is what I used to say. This job does. It just, the things that happen are just, it just don't, it's hard to fathom. But my mindset is different. I no longer let that affect my personal life. And I always bring up TikTok because that seems to be the biggest thing now. And I don't get deep into TikTok like I used to because I get in there. It's like I want to comment on people's stuff. They talk about a lot of different things, a lot of negativity. Oh, Christians are this and Christians are that and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, it's the new trend going down. First it was all all about all white people are racist, all black people are criminals, all Hispanics are the ones from the border, and all Asian people are this and all this and this and that. Slavery this, reparations that, blah, blah, blah. Black lives matter, all lives matter. It's a new trend that comes out, about something else. I'm not going to get holy roly on this one, but things that impact your positivity and your motivation are those type of things that you look at. Now, I look at them and I kind of just breeze through it because it's just one of those things. I get my news from TikTok. It's just, like I said, quick, fast, good to go. But all this stuff just filters out. You gotta disregard a lot of it. You can believe what you want to believe in a lot of different things. Same thing with me doing this podcast. This podcast is not easy. I sit there and I used to dwell on getting viewers or dwell on, what do my analytics look like? What, or even people even listening to me. Kind of don't, wouldn't say I don't care. I do slightly, but it's like, I need to do this for me. And it's helping me out. If it helps others, great. If others decide that they want to join in and listen to a few things, and that's great. But motivation is just, you have to find something that's going to motivate you. You'd think that once would be a factor in motivation. It's not. It's good if you got those things, My advice to myself was to look inside every morning when I wake up and decide how my day is going to go. Am I going to be negative today or am I going to be positive? it turns out being positive now because I walk out and I see my dogs. Those are my kids. I don't care what people say. Those are my kids. My wife and I's kids, right? And we have this little ritual in the morning where I let them out. They go and run, do the bathroom, do what they got to do because I have two of them that's in the kennel that I have to run out. And we got these little collars that we put on them that we got to beep them every time they get close to the fence because, I mean, we live in the woods basically and they're wanting to get through the fence to whatever's out there in their environment. So then I log into work, read my email, get my day going, and then my wife gets up and she starts tending to the kids while I'm at work. Is it perfect? No. Is it perfect for us? Yeah. I used to dwell on because I don't like living in the country. I'm not against people that do. You know, if that's you, that's great. Me, I guess I'm a little bougie because I like being in a city where things are at my fingertips. It makes time of things a lot easier. There's more opportunity. There's not really opportunity out here. Is there opportunity to relax? No, not really. You know, you got to deal with neighbors. You got to deal with dumb crap that goes out here. You got to deal with, flies and crap that's everywhere, snakes and spiders and shit. Sound like a bad fairy tale. But I don't let that bother me no more. Things are going to happen when they're going to happen. And I'm not just saying, oh, God's going to let all this stuff happen. I do believe in God, but He's going to let me do what the hell I'm going to do, right? I've got to make those choices and better choices in life. So motivation is just something you just have to find it within you. Take time, mental stock of how things are going. And things are going to upset you. Things upset me almost every day. But it's how you recover from that, how you slowly make it be like, I mean, there's things that happen. You're just like, man, it just can't catch a break. And I still have those. I still have those days. But from zero to pissed back down, it's getting a lot better. Get to where, there's just, it is what it is. If I let all the bad things dictate how my life is going to be, then it's just a shit life to live. And again, I don't know what anybody else's situation is out there, but there's two things we have in common. You're living and doing what you can. I look at these YouTubers and these TikTokers and these podcasters and I say, oh, it's real easy to do this. It's real easy to do that, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to sound like that because this isn't easy. This, it's easy to talk and easy, but a lot of times I'm just talking and just putting my thoughts out there. I don't know who else is going to watch this, if anybody even watches it all. They're just like, oh, do this and this and your analytics and your blah, blah, blah. And you'll just get all these people and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, no. You have to pay for that shit. It's not like you come up YouTube or TikTok or podcast sensation overnight. Some people have. But look at the stuff that they talk about. Like, look at TikTok. You see these people on TikTok, they just hating on people. Starting shit. Saying, oh, I don't have any Christians in my life. That's just the wrong thing. But yet you want to say that Christians are so bad, but then look what you're doing. You're doing the exact same thing. Except yours is kind of worse. You're labeling everybody under one thing. It's just labeling all, like again, about different races. Quit talking about it. If you ain't a Christian, that's fine, dude. I got people that come up to me that, hey, you going to church? No. Well, you need to go to church. No, I don't. Well, the Bible says. Well, the Bible says for you. If you follow that, that's your belief. Well, you have to believe in the same thing I do. No, I don't. Oh, you're going to hell. No, I'm not. You're doing the same thing, but a different way. You're judging me. I'm not judging you. Hey, Do you, man? Do your journey. I don't care what you got going on. That's your business. I'm not judging you. I don't really care. Don't bring it to my doorstep. You know, I'm happy that you're doing what you feel is God's work. Maybe that's God's work for you. That's not God's work for me. Oh, how do you know? Do you know God? Yeah, I do. Do you? Well, he's telling me this. Well, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that's working out for you. But he's telling me to do the best I can with life. Don't judge. Follow the 10 Commandments. That's it. Everything else is just a guide. Those people out there are saying, oh, all Christians this, all Christians that. You just group everybody in one category. You're doing the exact same thing. You're just judging people. Oh, well, I can judge all I want because I'm not a Christian. Well, that's great. I'm still not going to judge you. You do you. Oh, you think you're better than me. No, there you are assuming. That didn't come out of my mouth. I don't care if you're better or worse. I give two shakes of shit about what you got going on, man. If you want to be cool with me, I got friends that don't believe in God. You know? We just don't really talk about it. I mean, every now and then there's questions here and there, but it's just like, hey, it's just how I feel, man. I mean, if you want to ask me a question, don't just be prepared for my answer about what I believe in. I'm not pushing it on you, but if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. Other than that, just live your life, man. Then you got Christians saying, oh, you're not a real Christian because you're not following the Bible. Oh, again, you're judging me because I interpret the Bible different than you. God sent me to interpret the Bible. Did he really? Like, did he talk to you? Did he sit you down and say, hey, Mr. Preacher Man, this is what I want you to do? No. So when I talk about mental health, a lot of that goes into it. You look at politics, you look at religion, you look at everything, the news, everything that's going on. You look at, what's going on financially. You look at, mortgage. Like, we tried to sell this house, and it was a real bad economy. Did it upset me? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I have a rock, my wife. She's like, man, look, think of the situation we would have been in if that would have happened. Now, we'd have to find, well, back it up. So we had to file bankruptcy because of my job. And with VA loan, you have to wait 2 years after discharge. We got about 8 months. Back then, we had about a year. So we'd have to rent a house for a year with 5 dogs. You know how hard that is? Especially big ass dogs. Ain't that easy. So now you're paying pet rent, pet deposits, all this other kind of dumb crap. And you're not going to get any of that back. You just ain't. So patience is what I had to learn. And I was not good at patience. I'm good at it now. I'm better, but I ain't that great. Going back to your mental stock of what you got going on. Yeah, I got the ability to do this podcast. Am I making money off of it? No, will I ever? Probably not. But I'm not looking for that in this. More of anything, I love helping people out if I can. I love when people help me out. I'm a very thankful person. If this helps somebody, then great. Even if you don't leave a comment, that's great. Even if you leave a bad comment, that's great. You know, you can judge me all you want. That's your prerogative. I'm not going to judge you. I got people call me an asshole, and I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. Well, that's a fact, according to you. We want to take a poll, or what are we doing here? I can call you something all day long, but I'm not going to. I can say you're an ass for calling me an ass. I don't really care about what you have going on in that aspect. Now, if there's people out there that just needs some kind of motivation, day by day, step by step, there's not really any tricks or anything that even me or anybody else is like, hey, you pay $29.95 and you get my book on how I became successful. Yeah, you became successful by selling your book full of your personal information of how you got successful. It's like back in the day. I don't know if the younger listeners or know, but back in the day, there was a guy, before we had internet and all this shit, there was a guy or gal, I don't remember who it was, but They put in there in the newspaper ad, a bunch of newspaper ads, donate $1. People are like thinking, man, it's just $1. That dollar adds up. We became a millionaire. And it's legal. It's probably not legal now because, the government was like, oh shit, we can't get a piece of pie of this. We're going to have to do a law. I'm not saying I'm anti-government, but government be taking your money. It's like having an argument with people that have kids. They're like, oh, your dogs are your kids. I'm like, here's the difference though, buddy. You don't got to pay any taxes on my dogs. I got to pay school taxes, and I have no kids. So your kid can go to school. Is that fair? Why should I do that? Because I didn't choose, but life chose me not to be able to have kids, and I'm okay with that. It's called accepting. You know, I love my dogs. No, they're not humans, but they're better than a lot of humans I know. Dogs can't understand what they do. They're animals, but you give them the best life that you can, which is short lived compared to ours. No, I don't have to send them to college, but their vet bills are expensive. That's the biggest thing. Getting back to motivation is sometimes for me, I just sat there and I just thought one day, I was like, I can't live like this. I'm a better person than this. I want to be a better person. A better person doesn't mean I'm going to go out and tell people, hey, you believe in God, or hey, do what I do. No, I'm not ever going to do that. Now, if you take something from it that helped you out, that's because you wanted to do that. You chose to listen. This is free for you. It's not advice. It ain't telling you, hey, get rich like me or get positive like me. No, that's not what this is. This is what I did. And this is free of charge. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't help you, you didn't lose anything but time. And time is precious to a lot of people. Learn how to multitask, man. Listen while you're driving. Listen while you're working. My wife listens to my podcast as she's doing her little projects that she does in there. You know, my inspiration comes from her in a lot of instances. Like I say before, you might not be where you feel that you need to be in life, but think of the very positive things. You're breathing. And people are like, and this is how I used to be. Oh, wow, I'm breathing so I can freaking deal with all this bullshit. Yeah, but you can change that outcome. Oh, how can I do that? How long do I got to stay positive for? Till you die. I have to take testosterone for the rest of my life, and I hate doing it, but I have to do it in order to be motivated to go out and do things, to have the energy to do things, to not have a foggy mind and not let my ADHD do some random crazy crap. But I deal with it every day. You know, I don't like going to the gym a lot of times. Why? It's just something, that I feel that I need for me. Am I out of the house that I want with the shop and working on cool project cards that I want to work on? No. Will it ever happen? I don't know. But if I sit here and dwell and down myself and give up, it's definitely not going to happen. And that's a thing called hope. You're like, oh, there's no such thing as hope. Maybe not in your world. Hope doesn't mean you're always going to get what you want. Pipe dreams are pipe dreams. They might become reality. But if you don't put a foot towards it or do what you can to get there, even if you don't quite make it, look what you've learned from there. That's what I'm doing now. We got another 8 months before we can even put this house on the market to be considered for a VA loan. 8 months. Oh, that's not that long. Maybe not for you. That's where my patience has been able to kick in and help me out. You have to, well, me personally, I wouldn't say you have to, but I have to every day remind myself that the lights are on. There's food. There's shelter. There's freedom to be able to do whatever I want. to an extent. But imagine being in jail. Have I been in jail? Yeah. Never been in prison, but I was locked up in county for a hot minute. They still can't tell me why I was there. Did I do something wrong? Could have. They never told me what it was, though. Learned from that. Imagine being there where someone's always telling you what to do. Being in the military, someone's always telling you what to do. You make yourself your own prisoner at times. And that's what I did to me. This job was my prison. It's like, oh, you got the freedom to get up and walk around and get away. No. I do in this little office, but if the phone rings, I got to answer it. I have to do my job. So for 8 hours, I'm tied to this desk. Yeah, I can get up and walk around and stuff like that. I can go out and have a smoke break, and shit like that. Go have lunch. My wife can come in here and talk to me, but dogs can run in here and act retarded. But I'm still tied to this desk. Physically. Mentally, not anymore. Do what I got to do and I get off work and that's it. It's hard to get away from that. Looking at the positive fact is this job is paying my bills. My wife and I's bills. It's our money. So there's a positive. You can have a negative, but then you can follow it up with a positive. That's what I do. I'm not saying it's perfect for everybody. There are times I wake up and I don't want to go to work. Yeah. Call the fuck in. No, I'm just kidding. PTO is weird at my job. I don't even want to get into that, but all I'm saying, just want to make this like a close to 30 minutes as possible. I'm trying to get them a little bit shorter. But find your motivation through the positive things if you're able to. That's what I do. I'm not saying you have to do that, but just this is what's worked for me. It might not work for you, but it can give you ideas of what can work for you. I see people go out there and they work in the yard all day and all this other stuff, and it's beautiful. And at first I was just like, ain't nobody sees this shit, but that person doing it does. Same thing about making your bed in the morning. I still don't make my bed in the morning, but my wife's still asleep. That's why I still wouldn't make my bed in the morning. But you start off and you do something that's going to make the progression of your day, or do something, it's not about someone else seeing it. And it's like this right here. It's not about someone else seeing it, but I'm seeing it. I changed something. I made something better. And that was hard for me to do that. But I learned. Again, back to mental stock. Finding motivation. The littlest things can motivate. You can pick something off the floor. That was motivation, that you had your mind and your body pick up that piece of something that was on the floor and throw it in the trash. I know that sounds stupid, but I apply that to everything in life now. It's just one thing that I got to fix. The next thing, that's just one thing I got to fix. My appliances at my house have a serious freaking, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's because we have a lot of sand here and it gets into everything. Sandy loan. Fix one thing, next thing you know, one breaks. But I'm fixing just one. I'm not fixing two at a time. That's how I try to mentally prepare myself into each project or each thing. I got to do this. Today, I'm going to focus on this and this. And I might not always get it done because ADHD, sometimes it just doesn't work like that. But you get better at it. And then one day, 8 months are going to go by and my wife is sitting there driving to our new house. If it doesn't happen, it's going to eventually happen. If we end up staying here, then we'll figure something out and change it. So we just have to look into that. Again, just wanted to be a short podcast. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope mentally you're doing the best that you can. Maybe this might help you, maybe it won't. But thank you for listening again to Daily Dirty Podcast. Y'all have a great day.